This video is just essentially hating on Asstralis with Richard Lewis. Come on in. So you'll remember, recently I did a video about Hunden, and I was talking about how shameless it was with Asstralis, all of the things that they've done in terms of, you know, the lies that they've told, how they've essentially constructed a world where it's like, listen, we're going to hire Hunden, it's totally fine, he served his time. And then obviously it looks to me that basically using their Danish relationships, they also got semi-favourable coverage in HLTV in terms of ignoring the fact that when he leaked the scrapbook, it was leaked to Asstralis. They didn't say in the report that specific aspect of it when he was working at Heroic. And obviously the big headline saying he was cleared, when of course he's never been cleared of any charges because he was 100% guilty of the charges and confessed to the charges. It's like Hunden literally wrote O.J. Simpson's book, If I Did It, but wrote the second version the families did with the I Did It is the title, with the if in tiny illegible font. He admitted to it all. He never was cleared by ESIC. They simply felt too much pressure from legal experts, funded by who, I wonder. We've never heard of Hunden. Maybe that bar job he was working paid for the super expensive legal experts. Who knows? But anyway, and then immediately employed by Asstralis after they lied to you about, oh, he's only working at AIM Labs. So one thing I left out of that video, by the way, and just to show you how much they fucking lie all of the time. Remember how everybody said, you know, you're biased against Asstralis, you got no evidence that Hunden was working there the entire time. So, like, just using the AIM Lab thing. Remember, Astralis' defense was that he'd been doing all this content with AIM Labs for a sponsor activation. That's why he'd been in the office all this time and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so a Reddit user called Laughing Gas Fart, right, obviously comes with the highest sourcing, you know, the highest credentials. There was a thread about config, and people brought up Hunden being there, and, you know, he was working with the team. And somebody said, I thought it was obvious since I was one of the players in the AIM Lab videos working with Hunden and Asstralis. And Captain Scotland, who, if you're a regular to the CSGO subreddit, he's the most pathetic Asstralis fanboy. Like, they're all pathetic, but he is the most pathetic. The most pathetic. Like, you'll never see anything like this guy. He literally will shill for Asstralis all the time. So on the day I published my story about Hunden working at, like, fucking, you know, Asstralis, and quoted a source saying we think he's working there in a bigger capacity and all this stuff, he was going around correcting everyone, going, no, actually, Richard Lewis never said he was working there in a full time. And no. It's like, I totally did with a source. Like, and he's like, there was like 50 comments correcting people about something that was wrong, right? And people were like arguing with him and like going, no, he did say that, look. And he was going, well, anyway, I choose to believe Asstralis. I don't know how mind fucked you have to be to believe Asstralis about anything at this point. Like, I don't know how mind fucked you have to be. You have to be so lost in the source. They have lied about everything since they were formed in 2016. They've lied about everything. I mean, everything. I know this. It's fresh in my memory because remember, I'm writing an article about them called Questions Asstralis Shareholders Might Want to Ask. That'll be a banger. Probably also won't get published. Subscribe to my Substack. Right, anyway, Captain Scotland said, you were one of the players in the AIM Lab video and thought Hunden was doing just more than the AIM Lab videos? And Laughing Gasfart said, we did all of the videos in one day. That's it then, isn't it? Right, if this guy's genuine, they did all the videos in one day. But Hunden's been there for ages. So what was he doing the rest of the time? In the studio, it seemed very likely he did more than just those videos. But I may have jumped to a wrong conclusion, smiley face. Care to elaborate? All Richard Lewis could get out was that AIM Lab confirmed the project existed, and then the word of Asstralis saying he was on contract to the end of the month for the AIM Lab thing. But they also said after his ban, they wouldn't hesitate time to go. Again, totally ignoring the the quoted source that said, we think he's doing more than just these videos. And he said, well, I don't know what to elaborate. I got invited by a friend, accepted, went to Asstralis Nexus to film clips for AimLab, came in, and some other players were there, including Hunden. So Hunden went through some utility takes, etc., that we then had to do for the videos. It was during the Antwerp Major, so we watched some of an Asstralis game during lunch. Don't really know if I can come with more information than that, to be honest. Thanks for the info. Seems like it is legit that they hired him as a content creator to kind of direct the videos, and that was that. That's the conclusion. That dickhead. See what I mean? I was a fucking dickhead. Like, it's actually unbelievable. This guy's just told you they did all the videos of this super long deal that he was contracted for in a day. And that Hunden was in the office when the players weren't even there. The other people who were meant to be doing the content. Your conclusion is, well, they must have just employed him as a fucking content. All right, then. In the other video, I talked about my boy Steen Larsen. And he's the comms director for Asstralis. So in other words, he's the fucking minister of propaganda, isn't he? You saw in the previous video, I've caught him in a lie. I've caught him in a number of lies. The guy just lies. But he's also a freak. He's also a loser. When they announced the Hunden acquisition, he was the guy who was basically like posting. He posted something ridiculous like, it's so good that people with 20 followers can reply with a clown emoji. How far we have come. It's like, yeah, what do you expect? Like people aren't going to be happy about this. I know enough about esports fans to know that they will be fickle and totally forget and totally allow it. But anyway, so I'll definitely want to talk about this. This is my good friend Yanko. Remember, Yanko's one of them boys. He's a G. He's part of my CS family, like as in legit. You know, I got some acquaintances, got some pals, got some buddies, got some enemies. But there's a hardcore contingent. We went through some shit. We did the times. We're going to meet up as often as we can, well into old age. Me and him in our 60s. Drink. Well, I'll be 60 first, you know, but we'll be drinking fucking, you know, Palenka on a bench somewhere, talking about the good old days, the crazy days, you know. So, Yanko's good people. And so, anyway, he said, this was Steen Larsen, family portrait in the making. And there's that rat fuck on the end. Head analyst, lol. Head analyst. There's their academy side. And there's the real side in the front. Family portrait. It's all one big family. Yeah, it's super good being in the Asstralis family. It's great when you get took out behind the woodshed and get fucking, have your career euthanized. Like, yeah, it's so good. Bubski, fucking Yugi. Yeah, you're killing it. It's great to be part of the fucking family. Like, anyway. He said, Asstralis as an org turned to shit a while ago. Big true. So this isn't a huge surprise, but what puzzles me is how the guys like Glaive, Sipnix and Device, who've won so much through sheer hard work and doing things the right way, except being associated with a character like Hunden. That's a really good point. Something I never even thought about or talked about. But the problem is the Asstralis organization is so controlling, as we'll get to in a moment. They will just force the players to say things on Twitter like that. Nikolai, : it's like signing Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, it's just ridiculous, isn't it? How fake they are. Like, so Steen said, "Whoa, I'm not going there, but do you really want to talk about behavior?" And Yanko's like, "What? Just interesting that you call us a shit org and judge others by morale." I think it means morals. Personally, I think we have an awesome org, and I'm damned proud of how we work with and for the community and how we invest in the positives of our industry. But that's beside the point here. We'll come to the next bit in a second. But let's just assess the claim that they have an awesome org. Okay, let's look at that in isolation. Awesome is a lofty term. I know Americans like to overuse it, but awesome for me means something fucking special. Awesome for me means you have achieved something excellent. And let me tell you, you did at one point have an awesome org and an awesome team, right? Your org was made awesome by the benefits of your team and the people that facilitated that team. There's no doubt about that. They're the greatest core of all time. They elevated Counter-Strike. You can never say anything else, right? Good name, good brand, good team. Things were good for Asstralis. And then you cunts ran that into the fucking ground. How many tournaments are you winning right now? Where are you ranked in the world right now? What's going on with you today, dickhead? Fuck all. Your org is trash. Your team is trash. You've been going in one direction. Right? And by the way, because Blast has started now, you know, new Asstralis, right? Much like the old Asstralis. Well, all right. Just utter nonsense. And it's sad for me to have to say things like this. I like a lot of the players on Asstralis. I go back with Glaive, but I think Blame F's a G. I think the Bait F stuff is so unbelievably stupid. I want Device to succeed. I like him as a human. I think it's really been a super tough time for him. And I want him to win. I want him to come out the other side. I don't even mind Zipnik's fucking robbing this org blind and getting the bag with whatever insane salary he's on that fucked up 5-year contract or whatever he got. I don't mind any of it. And, you know, they've signed Buzz, which Hunden says. What Hunden did a tweet saying, bold Buzzy. Just don't, mate. For fuck's sake. You make it too easy. I'll show you the tweet. Without context. He's making that up. He's making stuff up again. No, I'm not making stuff up again. Unfortunately, he does say these things. Oh, sorry, it was even worse. It was even worse. I thought it was Bald Buzzy, but it was Ballsy Buzzy. So... Anyway, the awesome org aspect of it, like, to criticize them now and point out how bad they are makes me sad, because so many of the players I want to do well. I don't want Buzz, by the way, to be another fucking player just thrown on the fucking scrap heap by Asstralis when it becomes convenient. They lied about the fucking 10-man roster being an essential component. They're now going to subvert it and say, oh no, we always meant with an academy team. They're going to say that next, because they deleted the Casper Hit blog where he said we should have done this ages ago when they got the 7-man roster. They deleted that blog off their website. It's not there no more. Just divert you to the investors page. They're so dishonest. They'll even... It's like, seriously, it's like, put it this way. If Nicola Nyholm at this point revealed that actually he was Joseph Stalin, and old Uncle Joe never really died. He just fled to fucking Denmark, slept in a coffin, Nosferatu style, for a bit to regenerate, changed his appearance using his evil powers, and, you know, 'cause the playbook's exactly the fucking same. That blog was like defining. You put it out there. You said, this is the future, 10-man rosters. We're going to change the industry. We're going to innovate. I'm Casper Fit. I know all about sports. And I'm from that world. I'm an elite level athlete. Players shouldn't be punished for needing to take breaks. By the way, spoiler, Asstralis were the first org I have ever heard of that just essentially said, listen, yes, you've been on fucking 4 continents in 35 days or 42 days or whatever the fuck it was. You played in 5 competitions in a row in a month. Time off next year? Get a doctor's note, cunt. And they're the first org I ever even heard of this. And they'll tell you as well, oh, it's something to do with, but actually under Danish law, one has to secure a note so we can make their money right. They'll tell you some bullshit. Here's the reality. If you work for me, I can give you time off. That's that, isn't it? If you work really hard for me, and we win, and, you know, I say is the target, and you deliver, we get to the start of next year, I can go, all right then, yeah, have some time off, fuck it, have a holiday, we'll all have a holiday. Can't do that in esports, and these cunts definitely won't do it. Why? Because they've been double dipping there. Oh, we're Blastralis, oh, we're in ESL's league, we're talking a Flashpoint, we're doing all this. They had all these commitments to me, so the players were just cattle for them. And when those players turned around and said, we want a break or a pay rise or something, right? Like summon, right? Here's what they did. They then brought in scabs. They brought in other players. They were willing to play with lesser players than give the players their due. And that Casper Hit guy, I swear to God, he's a cunt. That guy, in that blog, that now deleted blog, he literally said, industry leaders and prominent figures should not be saying burnout is a lie, which, by the way, we never said that, but we also did say it's weird how the burnout came round about the contract negotiations and you being willing to bring scabs in. There was more to that story. I know people tell me shit. It's Danish CS. I don't miss on that, right? But he had the nerve, the audacity to say, I'm the liar, Asstralis. said I was the liar. Richard Lewis lied this one time, totally out of the fucking blue, but not us, never us, Asstralis. Provable lies on video, caught in 4K, time and time and time again. Anyway, the long and the story is, do I think you have an awesome org? No, I don't. You might be the biggest org in Denmark, but you're not even the best team in your country. Your other teams are a joke. Your LCS team is a sick joke. Hey, this awesome org, let's have a look at Astralis' LCS finishes, shall we? Or LEC finishes, I should say. Why don't we check in with how this awesome org is doing? Like, here they are, right? Awesome, this awesome org. These are their finishes since they got their spot in LEC. And remember, this is out of, I believe, 10 teams. Okay, so 9th, 7th to 8th, that was a joint one because they had the same amount of wins and losses. 10th, 9th, and it looks like they'll be rock bottom again. Never won any prize money in LEC. Never come close. And if you can see some of the names that they've had, and remember as well, obviously skanked the players by telling them, yep, you better take them cuts for the pandemic, and then proudly declaring, oh, everyone had to. It's in a fucking contract, dickhead. So their LEC team is dog shit. They also have a Rainbow Six team. I know you're shocked. Their Rainbow Six team, they proudly declared, we're not only moving into a new game, Rainbow Six, us, Asstralis, FPS Legends, we're not only moving into a new game, we're moving into a new territory. We're going to take an American Rainbow Six team on to represent us. Well, let's have a look then. How have they got on? Again, mediocrity. They did win this A-tier thing and these stages. And you can see as well, it's like mediocre. You haven't heard much about it. They've got a FIFA player, which, because that's an individual entity rather than a team, I won't dog on them too much. Spoiler, they don't do anything. So, as far as an awesome org goes, your flagship team, by the way, spoiler, your flagship team probably should be the LEC team, but your flagship team is your CS team. And your CS team has been blundering around for how fucking long, not doing anything, been outside of the world rankings, like he's 18th in the world right now. Teams ranked above Asstralis right now. Bad News Eagles, right? Big, Ents, OG, and crucially, Heroic. So yeah, they're local Danish rivals. So no, that word awesome, it just doesn't mean what you think it means. Your org is a joke now. You have run it into the ground. You have rolled the tits off it, and your hubris is really blocking you with the reality of what an awesome org would look like and what you could do to fix your org and fix your teams. And I am damn proud of how we work with and for the community. What has Asstralis done for the community? Can anyone? I'm genuine. I like scratching my head. What have they done for the community? Something that is for the community that isn't for themselves. Is there any example? I'm legitimately struggling. But here's the other part, right? So we also invest in the positives of our industry. Okay, well then. Let's talk about investing in the positives of the industry. What kind of message do you think it sends out that you have hired 3 coaches convicted of cheating? Is that positive? Is that one of the positives in the industry? Was it positive when you tried to fucking fleece the players out of money they were entitled to under the guise of it being necessary for the pandemic? No. And then, just to top it off, you have employed someone. And this is, as I've said, the bigger issue is this. It's not just that he cheated. Remember, he cheated, served his time for the cheating. Then he came back and tried to cheat his employer again by leaking documents to Asstralis, possibly because they wanted to hire him, like it was corporate espionage. And he did that. And then, to take down the team for that corporate espionage, because there's no other reason to do it. You've been caught. Why do you need to rat anybody else out, right? You don't need to. Your bank rights. He then tried to trick someone on the fucking spectrum into self-incrimination in a secretly recorded phone conversation that he then leaked to the media, to the press, to his pals, sent to ESIC. Convicted of all of this, you now, unquestionably, not hyperbole, Asstralis employs somebody that tried to exploit, for his own purposes, somebody on the spectrum. Tell me what's positive about that, you know? Absolutely nothing. And then, just to move on, and he deleted this, an absolute fucking clown that he is. But yeah, we can share stories if you want. Implying he has some sort of story about Yanko at an event that would be really damaging to his reputation. So Yanko says, it's a public forum. You can share whatever you want. My conscience is clear. And he said, this is where we differ. I would never actually. But dickhead, you just said we can share stories if you want. And he said, yeah, all right, then I do. But I would never. Because there are no stories about Yanko. Put it this way. If you act up in an event now, like, you know, cat's out the bag 99 times out of 100, you know, you get took off the broadcast. You know, there was no covering up Sadikist, was there? So what could Yanko have possibly done? Well, I'll tell you, Yanko's a model professional. Does he like to drink at events? Yeah, you know, we used to go kick it back after we'd worked the show, have a glass of scotch with each other, we'd take it in turns, get a bottle of Orban, brought in, sit in the hotel lobby, you know, making sure we weren't fucking sane, having a fucking glass of scotch. Yeah. Did he ever turn up hungover? No. Did he ever miss a call time? No. Does he turn up with fastidious notes and research? Yes. Does he look impeccable? Yes. He's a model professional who, as far as I'm aware, and I call out my mates all the time if you do anything fucked up, he's never done anything bad to anybody in the industry, which is why he's been so well regarded to the point that people like me and Thorin have always fought for him to get on the broadcasts. Because we recognise his talent. He's a really good guy. So there's absolutely no excuse for that. Because what's Steen Larson, PR director, by the way, no chance of him ever losing his job or having to apologise because Asstralis are cunts, right? You know, it's super interesting, isn't it? There's been one organiser, they get so ass-pinned about people criticising their organisation. Like, he publicly called my journalism clickbait. Mate, you want to stop Cast for Hit fucking writing your ridiculous clickbait blogs, because it's only a matter of time before an investor in your fucking dog shit org who's bought shares is going to start asking questions about why you've told so many lies. And remember, you're public. You don't get to just talk out your ass all the time without somebody somewhere asking questions. I'd focus on that kind of clickbait if I were you. But anyway, no. Asstralis are the only organisation that have led to a member of talent being pulled off a broadcast. Fnatic have tried, Cloud9 have tried. Asstralis are the only one to succeed, leveraging their little Danish mafia connections over at Blast. And it was Thorin. Called Device a loser, or said, well, didn't even call him a loser. He said, cry like a loser to your girlfriend or whatever when you lose. And so Asstralis management called up Blast and said, tell Thorin he can't tweet about us or to us or anything bad about us while he's at your event. And Thorin said, you're hiring me to do the show. You don't get to tell me what I post on social media as part of that. And he said, if you think, and they said, well, can you just tone it down? He said, I'm insulted you would even ask. Stick it up your ass. And he walked off the show. So that's Asstralis, by the way. That's who they are. And this guy, you would have thought a PR director would have a bit more fucking nous about him. Obviously he doesn't. Doesn't even know the basics of PR. Like, you've got to stay in control. If people are abusing you, giving you a hard time, then yeah. You know, you're the PR guy. What you say matters. You've got to stay in the pocket and not lose your cool. You know, if you can't do that, then you're not fit for the job. So we'll get into this, right? Because it then spilled over into a big old thing. I don't know. I try not to get involved in this stuff these days. No good can come of it. Like, I saw that game, a doc was going off on the desk again, trying to fucking imply that if you say, like, the reason EG won a game is because Heroic didn't turn up, that's like super insulting and unprofessional. And if you did it in the NFL, you'd get fired. I mean, she sounds like someone who's never watched any sports commentary. Like, I've literally heard some of the most out-of-pocket shit about teams, particularly in the NFL, and the out-of-shit stuff about players, intimating they might be drinking, like, all sorts of stuff. She just doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about. So anyway, here we go. Little Momo says that was the worst bluff ever. And then he says, so a professional who we are supposed to respect, calling the more than 80 people working their asses off a shit org is fine. Really? Yeah, listen, doesn't matter how hard you work. Doesn't matter how hard you work. It's like you can be Audley Harrison. Doesn't matter how hard you train. You're still a bum. You know, it's the end of it. Like, what do you want? Yeah, yes, you can work really hard and be shit. If you need an example of that, the entire esports industry. But insinuating he should look in the mirror before calling us all shitty is a bluff. I'm always available, you know that, but this is law. I don't even know what he means by that. And why would you always be available? Who the fuck would want to talk to you, you sad, pathetic, boring loser? Like, fuck off. Let's not paint the picture like he called each of your individual employees shit. I'm just more shocked that you seem surprised there would be public backlash to hiring the face of the biggest cheating scandal in CS. Surely plans have been made to handle this exact scenario. Indeed, this is what they call getting ahead of the story. Asstralis just didn't bother because they're so used to doing what they want and everyone licking their ass and saying, oh, is there ice cream in here or something? That they fucking just do what they want half-cock all the time and then just call you a cunt if you point out anything's wrong. That's their entire modus operandi. He said, I don't see where we act surprised or unprepared, your ridiculous outbursts, but I do believe you agree calling us a shit org for years is not a reaction to this signing but something deeper. Yeah, it's because you've been shit for years. We often meet and work together, so tell me us face to face and don't run to Twitter and throw garbage. So in other words, now doing this classic thing that all the orgs want. You work at our events. Yeah, I don't work for you, dickhead. You play, you get prize money. I don't work for you. I work for the people who make the hiring decisions for the broadcast. And does that mean I can't insult you on Twitter? No, it doesn't, dickhead. Doesn't mean that neither, mate. Never for a fucking second. Moses points out, it's literally our job to present our opinions on player court signings in public. For what it's worth, I'm pretty sure Yanko would have no issue saying that in person as well. And by the way, Steen, if you're doing the whole, say that to my face, fucker, you don't want to do it with Yanko blood. You don't want to even fucking bring that strange aggressive energy there. I'll tell you. I'll tell you for free. Wrong guy to ever fuck with on that basis. For fucking real. So don't drop the fucking internet janitor talk. Talk to me in person. Yeah, all right, mate. I get that. And criticising signings, decisions and actions is completely fair. Calling us a shit org for years is very different. And I responded in the same fashion, which arguably did not belong in an open forum. Well, it's Richard Lewis. Can't be esports journalist of the year despite being the best one in the year. Dun, 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 dun. Right. I pointed out to him, you didn't respond in the same fashion. You publicly implied you knew stories about Yanko, which would discredit him by damaging his reputation. If there are no such stories, you really ought to apologise. Oh yeah, there was another bit before that. I don't think he replied to that tweet, because he really should apologise, right? Like, if you're implying someone's reputation is bad in public, in a public forum, and there's no evidence of that. But Note weighed in and said, it's incredible you think his tweet is what shows a lack of class and not yours, implying you could have a plethora of stories of him acting up behind the scenes that you could share but won't for reasons. And as if your first tweet is a good response to the situation anyway. And he went, fair, but this is something we live for. And attacking us, and by the way, as if Yanko doesn't live for his job, as if none of us live for our jobs, as if none of us are passionate about this garbage space that we built before cunts like you were even in it, before you all came back from the fucking dead using someone else's name. Well, we weren't passionate. We don't love it. We don't live it, do we not? Just you and Asstralis, just you and the good old Danish mafia boys. Answering in a personal fashion was a bad choice, but I can't say I'm not disappointed. And I said, just a thought. If you're incapable of controlling your emotions in public when someone criticises your highly criticisable organisation, are you really the person suitable to be the head of communications? And he said, I think we both prefer passion to cold strategy once in a while. And obviously he's alluding to there, yeah, you're a hothead, aren't you, Richard? Here's the difference. I'm not a PR director of anyone but Richard Lewis Enterprises, my own PR, which I've steadily fucked up for fucking years to a point where it just no longer matters. My PR fuck-ups became a brand now. And this is what what I am. And you know what? I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be more comfortable, never having to bow and scrape to scum like you, to absolute shithouses like you. I can look you in the eye and call you a cunt, and you can't do fuck all about it. It's so nice to have that freedom in life. Everyone else in the industry might have to, like, dial it down. Oh, well, he just worked for Asstralis, and maybe they'll complain. Never me, mate. I'll tell you what, I'll tell you if it's. I'll list all the things you did wrong in your fucking org. I'll do it with a smile. I know you watch my videos religiously. I know you read my articles religiously. You're always threatening to debunk me, and then, oh, Richard's got the receipts again. Whoopsie doodle. You don't know what receipts I've got, so you sort of don't want to actually take me on. By the way, you would shut me down anytime in public, right? Nah, you're never up for that. So, here's the thing. You're a fucking PR guy. If you can't, tuck away that passion, you can't do PR. Simple as that. And I point this out. This is like a little free lesson. Unfortunately, losing your shit in public isn't conducive to a successful PR outcomes. You definitely shouldn't emulate my approach because we do very different things and have very different goals. For example, I have to be ethical to do what I do. You fortunately don't. No reply to that neither. Just put them in the body bag. Fuck off. Away you go, you shithouse. See ya. And Dust in there as well, giving him a side dig on Twitter. Boom. Dust is my wingman. He's always in there. And then, like, by the way, just deletes that tweet, but leaves all the others. Brilliant. Nailed it. So, fantastic. Anyway, just also, because this is just what I'm sure is going to be a regular segment this year, the hating on Asstralis segment wouldn't be complete without pointing out, obviously, they did play. And so let's have a look and see how they've got on. With head analyst Hunden at the helm. Well, this was well worth fucking subverting fucking everything. Wasn't it? This was well worth it to lose to a fucking stumbling, bumbling Vitality with some of the people who left your dog shit org, including Zonic, who you have absolutely fucking sold down the river with your recent PR offensive to fucking pretend Hunden is fit to tie his fucking shoes as either a coach or a human being, right? No, you got blown out the water. You got blown out the water and you got mocked and fucking ridiculed all the while it happened. And Top Fragger blame F, everyone hating on him, saying low impact, not even, he can't carry clown shoes. You looked exactly the same. You looked exactly the fucking same. And let me just show you again, because I said I would do this. The idea you would ever fucking do this to Zonic, like, I don't get why they are so adamant on shitting on Zonic's legacy, but they've done it a number of times. Little digs here and there, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it blows my mind. It blows my mind that you got the greatest coach ever to be in CSGO, was like a fucking father figure, a coach, a fucking, just a cool dude. Like, everything, a leader of men, everything you needed in a coach. And you're going to shit on this guy's legacy every opportunity you get. And you're going to make Glaive do it. Glaive on Hunden and Castle. I've never had such a competent coaching analyst team behind me. Oh, I feel sick that you've made him say that. I feel sick. And I know Glaive doesn't, and Lucas doesn't believe this for a fucking second, by the way, guys. Not for a second. This is classic Asstralis. Like, you have to say this. Do an interview, talk up Hunden, talk up Castle. Like, talk about how good it is. What a fucking joke. What an absolute joke. How can you even say that? You can say, I'm looking forward to new ideas, or we need a fresh approach, and that's exactly what Hunden brings. His suggestion, cheating. You know, say anything that you want, right? Don't say you've never had anyone better behind you than that. Fuck that. That's outrageous. So out of pocket. So, I'll also just add as well, right? Did anyone notice anything about, like, fucking Hunden during the blast, during the game? Anyone notice anything? Because, you see, for me, if you're the head analyst, this is the first time I've ever seen the head analyst do all the talking. Stood behind the players, his ugly, greasy face, his rat fuck cheating face on the broadcast, right? Just there, just stood behind the players, in between the maps, talking to all the players, doing all the bits and pieces. Thought you were the head analyst, blood. What's going on here? It's like, so weird. Looks like he's a coach of some kind. Strange. So strange. Very bizarre. And no one's brought it up. And then, just the grotesquerie of this.
But but not on the same maps and not when it mattered.
No, just not enough from the side of Asstralis. Not
Look at
enough
this.
Tactical depth.
Look at it. And look at the nerve.
The same maps and not when it mattered.
Head analyst, by the way.
Just not enough.
Shaking everyone's hand.
Not enough tactical depth.
Sonic still like
They're
too much
to
class.
Vertigo back
I'd have
into their map
spat in
pool.
his
They're trying to
palm.
avoid
Fuck
Anubis,
you,
and we
like.
can see that
Who are you?
it's not
Don't
just
touch
there
me.
yet. It's a tough
Who the
ask
fuck are
to
you?
try to throw this map in.
Extend your
especially
fucking
given
hand to me.
The fact that you have a rookie
Immediately
Buzz,
works his
for
way
sure.
back in
He's still
shot.
trying to integrate. He's
Remember
still trying
me,
to get
guys?
over the
Yeah,
nerves
well.
and pressure of it all. And we can see
Remember
that
me?
Glaive, he's going to have to go back to the drawing board.
What a fucking cunt. This is the final insult to everybody, right? It's the final insult because he is the coach. He's just the coach. And by the way, there will be nothing wrong with him being the coach. You know, it's all over. He served his term, served his time, right? So by lawyers pushing back against E6 so he didn't have to. So there's nothing wrong with him making the coach. They just wanted to mitigate how much backlash they actually fucking got. They actually fucking just wanted to mitigate it. And so they said, oh, he's just a head analyst. He's a coach. He's a coach. He's their coach. He's doing all the coaching. Castle is just some fucking patsy bum just happy to have a fucking job. Right? What was his credentials when they brought him in anyway? He was always a placeholder. He was always the patsy, always the front. Astralis think you're stupid. They think you can't see these things. The only people who can't see these things is fucking Captain Scotland. You know, like, everyone else can see through it. It's just so fucking transparent. And by the way, the best part now is, I hope Hunden brings that energy to Heroic, by the way. Try and shake their hands. Oh, yes, I'll be ready and waiting. Ready and waiting for that one, like. Just pathetic. What a thoroughly unlikable organisation. And as I said, there will be sustained malice towards them for the rest of the year. I'm not letting up on it. Fuck this. This is so corrosive for the industry that this has been normalised. No, someone's got to take a stand on it. Like, it's bollocks. This isn't about, you know, I'm a big believer in you do the crime, serve your time, get a second chance. But this is absolute fucking nonsense. So you can look forward to some more sustained content about that in the future.